Hey everyone, it is Melissa and I am back. I have not posted a video for a while and it is January. Thought that it was time for me to, just to say hello. I was planning on doing a Facebook Live or LinkedIn Live, but it just didn't work out with everything that I was going to do. For those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that I love being in the kitchen, which is, for those of you who've known me my whole life, you're like, that is so not you. But my most recent last couple of years, when I've had some time to just kind of play in the kitchen, I've really found just a lot of fun and a lot of joy. So I am bringing to you a leadership lesson today, or just kind of a discussion today, based around spiced apple cake. So this is a recipe from Giada. I am not the kind of person that can just throw stuff together and teach you how to cook. I take other recipes and I make them, and then I'm going to give you a review on whether it turned out or not. And quite frankly, if it didn't turn out, it's because of me and not because of the recipe itself. But anyway, I'm going to have fun along the way, and we're going to chat a bit today about the Bible and business and just some thoughts that I've been having on this since I launched my book. Okay, so I just want to get going here on combining. So I need to combine the butter. It's supposed to be room temperature butter. I took everything out this morning, and so it's pretty much melted, but it's room temperature, so it should, I'm just going to cut it up just a little bit here so that the mixer can mix it really well. So we're going to combine that and a cup of sugar. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. All right, so we're going to do a cup of sugar. That's a half a cup. And that's a half a cup. And we're going to beat that until it's light and fluffy. So I'm going to turn off the camera right now and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And I've got some bad news. So I was supposed to put the butter out and make it room temperature, right? Which I did. I took it out this morning at like 7:30. And I thought by 10:30 it would be room temperature. And it did seem kind of soft, but it was not soft enough. So when I used my hand mixer to mix it up, it was just still kind of really chunky. And so I thought, hey, I know, I'll use the microwave and I will melt it. Well, melted butter does not react the same way as room temperature butter. So it did not get light and fluffy. In fact, I don't know, it might work. I've just decided that for today, I am not going to make sliced apple cake for this video and for this lesson. So we're still in the kitchen, but I'm just not going to, bake. I want to be sure that you're with me and we're not focused on baking. I will finish the cake later and let you know how it is. Okay, so, but what I wanted to talk to you about was the Bible in business. So, I think I mentioned to you that I launched my book, finally. I'm so excited. So that was one of my goals last year, was to finally publish my book, which I did. I self-published it. I worked with an amazing man who guided me through the process. His name's Ben Wolf. He is fantastic, and he led me to the wonderful lady who designed the cover, Jeneth Dyke. And so very grateful for those two people in particular, and there were many, many, many others as well. And so, but but what I want to talk about is the reaction that I've had. Most people have been super thrilled, right? And very, very, very supportive. In fact, everybody's been very supportive. But the response I get is, oh, okay, so it's 12 biblical lessons to transform you and your team into better leaders. Oh, so your target market is churches or religious organizations or companies that, like Chick-fil-A or like Hobby Lobby, that, in their core values and in their principles, it's all biblical based organizations. And the answer to that is yes and no. I wrote this book for the everyday leader that is at work, going into work day in and day out, and has a faith. Maybe they believe in Jesus, maybe they believe in somebody else, but they do believe in a higher power. And it is difficult for them to bring their whole self to work. That's who I wrote this book for. And I wrote it for the person who wanted to bring and integrate their faith into business, but either they forgot, like me, or they just weren't comfortable with it. Because I believe that, and once I learned this, which was in 2015, so it was just relatively recently, I was in the corporate world for 32 years. And when I learned to bring Jesus to work with me, I mean, literally invite him to work with me, my whole outlook changed, my whole leadership style changed, and that's what I want to talk to you about. So Grace and Salt, yes, it's biblical based. Yes, Jesus is through every single page of this book, but it is leadership lessons that I learned from reading the Bible and then applied them to my everyday decisions, my everyday conversations, my everyday. And so how that happened was I was on a mission trip, and at the end of the mission trip, we always ask the kids, so what is it that you're going to bring back with you, back to Rockford, and how are you going to impact your community with what you've learned while you were gone? And this one young man, Ethan, who I love dearly, he was challenging. And so he said to me, okay, Melissa, well, what are you going to do? And he said it kind of just like that. Like, what are you going to do? Oh, good question. And it's just kind of like a kid, right? Answer a question with a question to divert, because he didn't want to answer the question, I'm pretty sure. But I respected his question, and he was right. What am I going to do? So I thought about it for, a little bit, and I said, you know what, Ethan? Here's what I'm going to do. When I get back to work on Monday, I'm going to bring my Bible to work with me, and I'm going to read the Bible before I start my day. I'm going to literally bring my Bible to work, because here's what happens. I leave my house, back out of the driveway, drive about 12-15 minute commute to Taylor. I pull in the parking lot. I find my parking space, get out of the door. Can you imagine this, right? This is maybe what you do every day. Maybe you did it this morning. And you shut the door and you lock it. And I would leave Jesus in the car. And I went to work, opened the door, and boom, 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 hit the ground running. I was off and running, da, 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 da. And then when it was time to go home, I'd get back in the car, and there Jesus would be in the passenger seat. And I'd talk to him again on my way home. I'd talk to him on the way. I'd pray from the time I left the house to the time I got to Taylor, and I'd pray from the time I left Taylor till the time I got home. But I didn't bring Jesus to work with me. I didn't bring him to work with me. And that's where this book is about faith meeting business. And it was so important for me. It never failed when I would read a passage in the Bible some morning, sometime during that day or during that week, I could apply that leadership lesson to a situation or a decision that I faced. And for me, at that point in my life, I was an executive in the company. And for me, that gave me freedom, that relieved my stress, that I was not alone, that Jesus was there with me to help me and guide me along my way. And that's why this book is so important. Because once you get, right, everybody wants to get all the way to the top. But once you get there, it is lonely, ladies and gentlemen. It is lonely. And so to know that I could just bring Jesus with me, invite him, come on, you come with me. He's holding my hand. He's beside me. He's in front of me. He's behind me. And I have an owner's manual on leadership. Oh, that was amazing. And so that's why I wrote this book. And that's why this book is so important. Yes, it is. You go through it. It's jam-packed full of all kinds of different exercises and evaluations, and it helps you on a self-discovery perspective as far as your leadership goes, but it also helps you identify your team, your high performers, your gaps in your organization, and how can I fill those gaps, and how can I help employees reach their potential. All that kind of stuff is in here, and I hope you find it very, very valuable. But the biggest thing is that I want you to feel comfortable about bringing Jesus to work. And I'm telling you, I didn't run down the aisles and go, hey, you need to read the Bible, you need to read the Bible. No, it was very personal to me and it was very private for me. I prayed in my office every morning before work. I prayed before I met with a customer. I prayed before I did a presentation to our distributors. I prayed and prayed and prayed because I knew that Jesus would not let me down. And whatever I did, I wanted his words to be my words. I don't think any of my coworkers ever knew that. But that is what I want for you. So today, so I'm finished here and I'm going to finish making this pot or this cake here. But I just want you to think about that. I want whatever your faith is, whatever it is, I want you to think about bringing that to work with you. And feeling, I just wish that you can feel the freedom of life when you're not in control, and it's okay. So I want to leave that with you right now and for a Friday afternoon, something to ponder for the weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.